Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike here, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Friday, July the 26th. It's race number 7 at Del Mar. Let's throw up the field for the Fleet Treat Stakes. Calbred or sired 3-year-old fillies going 7/8 of a mile. Nice to see a big field of Calbreds in here. The one they're going to have to beat is the 7, Grand Slam Smile. She's won stakes races in 3 of her last 4 starts. She's won 5 of 7 overall. Coming off a little bit of a layoff, but she's been very versatile, winning around 2 turns and winning sprinting.
Yeah, I agree. I think she is the horse to beat in here. It looked really good winning a 2-turn route last time. That she gets to cut back for this. She has tactical speed. All of her races are good. I guess maybe her main rival's the 9, Pushiness, second off the layoff with big speed.
Big speed is a perfect segue into our Timeform US pace projector, and there is the number 9, Pushiness, expected to make the lead. But note the red bar scenario. Perhaps Pushiness will have to go fast in the early portion of this race, stretching out from 6 to 7. Grand Slam Smile expected to be up close to the pace. The 4, Andiamo Ragazzo, was very aggressively ridden last time out at Los Alamitos. Maybe she'll try to take back a little bit this time.
Yeah, we'll see how fast this pace winds up getting. Pushiness to me is the fastest early in here if they want the lead. It seems like they didn't get so aggressive with her off the layoff. But she's fast enough to put a lot of pressure on these horses if they come out of there running.
Keep an eye on the number 11, Quantum Energy. Note the LP flag over her chiclet. That indicates that she has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating, and she sure looked good closing in her dirt and sprint debut at Los Alamitos. Let's kick things off with the number 1. That's Loretta Lynn going route to sprint. She finished 3rd last time out behind Grand Slam Smile in the Malaire. I thought it was an okay performance for her, Mike. She's been freshened since that race, and I don't mind her cutting back to a sprint. Her lone victory was her lone prior dirt sprint. It was her career debut.
Yeah, I don't mind her cutting back for this race either, Dan. She didn't run great last time behind Grand Slam Smile, but she was between horses for a long way in there. And then when she did finally get room in the stretch, she ran on a little bit. I like her going a little shorter. I also feel like, though, she's going to have to up her game against this field. This is a much tougher field than the last one.
The 2 is Prancing Through Paris, who earned a stakes placing at Del Mar last year as a 2-year-old. She's been beaten a couple of times by Grand Slam Smile, but perhaps she got a confidence builder from this race, a Calbred first level allowance going 5.5 furlongs. Andiamo Ragazza is on the lead. She didn't break very well, rushed up to make the top, and for a brief instant, it looked like Prancing Through Paris is going nowhere. She really kicks it in right here.
Yeah, it really runs at the end of this race. In some ways, and listen, she did run well in here, but in some ways, she just had all the best of it because this pace was fast and she was off of it, and she is the one who has something left at the end. I'm not so sure that Andiamo Ragazza didn't run the best race that day, and Prancing Through Paris just sort of took advantage a little bit.
The number 3 is Back on Track, and she's going to be repeating the turf to dirt move that resulted in her most recent victory. This race going 3/4 of a mile at Santa Anita on March the 22nd. She's on the outside here, ready to go on the attack at 10-1, and she readily goes by the leaders. This is a likable performance for Back on Track, who probably needs a little bit of a buyer boost, Mike, but this is probably her best surface.
Yeah, it probably is, and maybe she gets a really good setup in here, Dan. I don't think you should really be worried about 7 furlongs. For her, listen, she's 2 for 3 on dirt since they claimed her. She's 2 for 2 in her career when she switches from turf to dirt, and she's switching from turf to dirt again for this. She's interesting at a price.
I am interested in the 4 Andiamo Ragazza as well for Peter Miller. Relu Gutierrez takes the mount. Winner of the debut, sprinting on turf at Golden Gate. Again, last time out in that race with Prancing Through Paris. Didn't break great from the rail. Really rushed on through along the inside to make a pressured pace down towards the rail. And then she understandably tired. I got to look at her last workout on XBTV, and they had her sit off 2 other horses on the outside, and she ran by them in the stretch. So maybe those are the tactics they'll adopt here.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they got that aggressive with her after she didn't break great in that dirt debut last time. Dan, I still thought she ran a really good race and just sort of paid the price for the early tactics. That being said, I do think she's probably going to be able to rate a little bit in here. I really liked her debut on turf, and I kind of feel like I'm really interested to see her get back to that surface. But I think she's interested in here too. I'll wait and see what kind of price she is.
Like the number 3, back on track. The number 5, Safa, has performed well going turf to dirt in the past, and she's coming into this race in very good form, winning on the straightaway 6.5 turf course at Santa Anita last time out in off-the-pace fashion. Now, she was no match for Grand Slam Smile, went second in the Malaire, but that was at a mile and a 16th. Maybe she's better at sort of these longer sprint distances.
Yeah, that could be the case. I don't think I would knock her too hard. I mean, I don't think you would love the fact that she's 2 for 12 and she settled for second 7 times already. So it just feels like she's got that working against her. She's also been defeated by 4 of these rivals along the way. I don't love that about her either. But she's another one. Switching surfaces, cutting back could really work for her. She always shows up. So this is a pace that gets fast. It could just fall into her lap because she'll be running at the end.
The 6, Roberta's Love, showed some talent in her first 3 starts, winning 2 of them, including the Evening Jewel, a race in which she wired Safa. Then they tried to stretch her out in the Malaire last time out, and maybe that distance is just a little bit too far for her at this point in her career. I don't mind her cutting back, and it's not like she's a speedball. Just because she won gate to wire 2 starts back, she showed that she could rate in the start before that.
I agree with that. I mean, she caught a really good start in the Evening Jewel two back, and they just went with it. She took a little pressure, and she was, I thought, much the best that day. The maiden went 2 back. She and against a really well meant first time starter, and she just sat off that horse who was 3-5 and closed her down at the end. So I like that about her. I think she's tactical. She didn't run well last time, Dan, but she got off to a pretty bad start in that race, and then they just put her on the rail. She took a ton of dirt and just sort of stopped running through the stretch. I'd be a little lenient for that performance.
For a horse with only 7 lifetime starts, the 7 Grand Slam Smiles basically done everything asked of her. She's won on all 3 surfaces. She's won sprinting. She's won going long, and she beat 3 of these last time out in this race. This is the Malaire, a race where she got right up close to the pace. Roberta's Love's going to finish 6th in here. Safa second. Loretta Lynn third. Grand Slam Smile just strides away. The best part of the performance is the last 16th of a mile, where she really turns on the afterburners. 76 Spire, freshened after this race, now cuts back, but so tactical and consistent.
Yeah, just much the best in this race. I was really taken with this performance, Dan. She got the right trip, but she got the right trip because she put herself in that position, and then she just buried that field. She faces some of the same rivals here. I mean, this is a tougher race, but I don't mind her cutting back. She's got tactical speed. I think she's the horse to beat here.
The 8 has stopped digging, and she's a very interesting contender. Very lightly raced, 4 starts, done nothing wrong. 2 wins, 2 seconds. Now, both wins, her last 2 starts came on turf, but this is her 1 race on dirt. Her career debut going 5.5 at Del Mar last year, and she ran quite well at a pretty big price, Mike, and she's trying all the way down to the wire. She's just going to miss by a neck. I'm not ready to just pigeonhole her as a turf horse just yet.
I'm not either. I thought she ran fine in this race. Her turf races are obviously good as well, but it's not like she improved by leaps and bounds with the surface switch. Dan, I think she handles this surface switching back. I think she's a little interesting in here. It's not going to be easy for her to win, but I don't think she's in way over her head against these horses.
The 9 is Pushiness, the expected early speed for a Poli stable. Trainer Michael McCarthy. Here's her first start off of a pretty lengthy layoff, a first level allowance. This is against open foes, and she, as usual, showed her usual early speed, made the front, rebuffs briefly this challenger, and then is going to get a little bit tired and finish second, probably feeling the effects of that layoff a little bit as well as this very long stretch at Los Al. She won her first 2 starts and her only 2 starts against Calbred competition, and she should appreciate getting back down in class.
Yeah, I think so. She has really big speed when they elect to use it. And I thought she ran okay in here against some older horses and some good ones. Dan, she broke right on top in there, but they just didn't go in that race and really put the pressure on that field. They sort of kept a hold of it and kept the pack tight around her. I think it worked against her at the end. I still thought she ran pretty well. We'll see about 7 furlongs, but listen, she's on the lead in here, and I don't think she's going to be easy to run down.
A surface switch for the number 10, Sham Rockin', who will try dirt for the first time after 6 opportunities on grass. Didn't do much around 2 turns against open first level competition, but she's only raced against Calabreds 3 times. She won both of them, and she's got a little bit of dirt pedigree, being by Clubhouse Ride and a half to a stakes place dirt horse. If she handles the service, she should get the right setup from the back of the pack. A fast pace helps this one.
Probably going to be pretty far back early in this race, so we'll see, if she gets the right kind of a setup, and then she can produce the same closing kick on dirt that she does on turf. One thing to pay attention to early, Dan, is how she reacts to kickback. It's something which she's never had to deal with before.
Quantum Energy completes this field. This one made her dirt and sprint debut after 4 turf tries in this race. A Calbred first level allowance at Los Alamitos going 6.5 furlongs. She fell far behind the pace, Mike, but this is a pretty solid late kick. She just runs by everybody in the blink of an eye and keeps on going. 71 Beyer speed figure for Quantum Energy. Perhaps she's found what she wants to do all along, and that's sprint on the dirt.
Yeah, maybe if I was going to take a closer in this race, it might be her, Dan. We'll see if the closing at Los Alamitos is a little bit different than closing at Del Mar, so she's gonna have to probably run a little bit better than this.
Plus, it seems like Los Alamitos can be a little bit kinder to those turf horses than maybe the tracks at Santa Anita and Del Mar. She gets a class test, but she sure looked good last time out. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top Big Time Friday's DRF race of the day. It's the Fleet Treat Stakes. You're going to Roberta's Love. Going to give her another chance. She looked really promising in her first 3 starts, and last time maybe the break hurt her as well as the distance.
Yeah, I just want to give her a chance to bounce back here at a price. I think Grand Slam Smile, your topic. I think she's the horse to beat, Dan. I don't think it's going to be easy to beat her, but I think Roberta's Love might get overlooked a little bit now just because that last running line looks so bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll have to take a short price with Grand Slam Smile. She's going to have to do this cutting back off a little bit of a layoff. I've just been really taken with her races. She just seems like a really consistent type that figures to pull a good trip. Curious to see what we get from the 4 in here. Andiamo Ragazza off of her dirt debut, where maybe she was compromised by a poor start and then rushing up to control the pace. 6794 for Mike, 7214 for me. It's the Fleet Treat Friday's race of the day at Del Mar. Good luck.